Alright fellas, so for today's video, we are going to be going over all of the tips that I have found in Farming Simulator over the years. I've made a couple videos of this. We're basically just combining all those videos into one. All these tricks work on console and PC. So, yeah, anyways, let's get into the video.
The first one here is you can actually drive your combine with your semi-truck. So what I have here is a combine loaded onto a low loader. Now, if I hop in the harvester, I turn that harvester on. See, it's ready to harvest. If I hop back in that truck, it will actually harvest on the truck. So you can do a whole field like this. This is a lower horsepower truck, but if you got a really long field, you can go 60 miles an hour and do this. Okay, it works just fine. It's kind of crazy, honestly, how well it works. So the second tip I have here is, let's just say like I'm in the top of the map here. See, I'm in the very top left corner of the map. Let's just say I'm working these fields and I buy a plow. Okay, let's just say I buy a plow. I don't want to drive all the way back there, right? Because the store's in the middle of the map. I'm way at the top. I'm up here. So I need to get all the way down here to pick that thing up. So instead of doing that, really, it's super simple. Just go into your tractor and hit reset. Okay. And now that tractor's at the store. Okay. Super simple, super easy. You don't necessarily think to do that, but it's a good way to get back to the store real quick. You can actually set the AI to drive places for you too. It's really easy to do. You just go into the map, slide over to create a job, right click on him. Okay, set destination, and you can place him anywhere. All right, so if I put it right here, hit R3 a couple times, and he'll just take off driving there. Okay, I'm not driving right now. This isn't me. I'll hop out. You'll see he's still driving up there. You just let him go. It's a great way to work with contracts, right? What I'll do a lot of times is I'll find a good contract I want to do. We'll just say I want to do, let's just say this hoeing one here. You borrow the equipment. Okay, I hop in the equipment. I'll load this thing up real quick, and I will set the destination to the field I have to do, go do my own stuff, and then come back, hit circle to set the AI do it, right? You'll get that started, hook them up, set destination, find the field, which I need to go to is sometimes a little tricky to find the field you can go to, honestly. But anyways, let's just say I had to go to this field. You just click by the field. He'll take off there on his own. He'll drive there for you. See, I'm not doing it. Wait like 5 minutes, hop back in, hit circle, and he'll take off ready to go. Okay. Next trick I have here is when you're just starting a 0 to hero run and you need to make some money, you can actually use this little tuk-tuk thing. It's in vehicles, cars. Cheapest vehicle you can get, okay? But the key here is this thing has straps. And now we can utilize those straps. We'll get the chainsaw out. If we cut this towards the tree, we gotta aim right here. We gotta aim here. If we time it, you can hook it onto it like that. Okay. And you can just drive a whole tree. You take that straight to the cell station. Trick here has to do with greenhouses and how I like to set those up. So there's a couple tricks here. This is the cheapest tractor and the cheapest tank you can buy, right? Cheapest tractor, cheapest tank. And I'm going to buy the most expensive greenhouse. But there's a couple tricks with greenhouses that you need to know. So if you go to greenhouses, I'm going to buy an expensive one here. I'm going to place 2 of them, actually. Let me zoom in so I can see where the water outlet is. Okay, so the water outlet is right there. I'm actually going to place 2 of these down. Okay, and now what you're going to want to go to is you're going to want to go to, I believe, sheds, containers, okay? You need a water source of some kind. Not this one because you have to pay for it. You either want the windmill or this mod. It's a free water tank mod. If you want to be legit, use this. Park that next to it, but leave enough space where you can drive between it. Okay. And now what you're going to want is you're going to want to go to, slide over to silos. Oh, my mistake. Silo extensions. And you're going to buy a couple of these supplemental water tanks and just stick them in the area. They don't even have to be that close, okay? And now what these do is they act as kind of a battery, but they have a range. And the benefit of that is when you fill one of those, it kind of fills everything. So now if I pull up next to this, right, and I start filling up, I'll fill up this tank, and I hit R1 triangle, it's going to go straight from that water source into my tank, into those blue tanks, which distribute into the greenhouses. And the reason why that's beneficial is because if you'll see here, this thing has water. Okay, I didn't put any water in it, but it already has water. This thing, the water's going up. But the nice thing about that is it allows you to, do your greenhouses. And all you have to do is hop in here every so often and hit R3 and R1 triangle. You don't have to move the tractor. Okay, you can leave the tank there, back the tractor up, but you don't have to drive you don't have to go back and forth to fill them up. You can just fill them all up at once. The more batteries you get, the more of these little green tanks or blue tanks you have, the less often you have to fill it. So the first tip I have here is that you can actually use this mini map, this rounded mini map, to help line up your tractor straight. So as you can see, as I'm turning, that number is increasing or decreasing on the far left, those coordinates. But what you can do is you can use that to line up. So if I know I'm at 270.5 and I go straight, that's on a line. Now, if I were to come back here and say start the next row, what you want to do is make sure that you're at 275.5 again. Don't get stuck here. Okay, and you'll know you're perfectly straight with that. So as you can see, you line that up perfectly. A little more. 275.5. So I'm exactly in line with that other line that I had. So if I were to go straight from here, it would be in a direct straight line with that other line, which is great for plowing. It's great for harvesting, great for fertilizing, that sort of thing. So just a little tip that can help you out when plowing, because there's not always good guidelines for that. And especially if you're on a New Frontiers map or whatever and need to get a perfectly straight line, that's how you do it. Here is to utilize buying and selling land to its fullest potential. So what I mean by that, basically what I mean is you can harvest and sell the land back for the same price. So if you were to harvest this field, you could sell it. You could buy the field for 179,000, and then you could sell it for 179,000 after you harvest. Right? You're not going to lose any money. You can let the AI do all the work, and you could just buy and sell the harvested fields for no loss. The other aspect of this is with woodworking or wood cutting. So I own this field, right? You can see I'm able to cut this wood all I want. Right, I can cut it if I want to. Nothing too fancy. If you were to cut down all the trees here, you can still sell them if you sell the field. So you can't cut them, but you can sell them. So if I sell this land, I'm no longer able to cut this wood, right? It's going to give me an error. However, you can still interact with it, right? I still have it picked up, and you're still able to go sell it. So you could cut down every tree, right, with the chainsaw, process them into manageable chunks because you can't recut them, so they're going to be stuck in whatever shape they have. And then you could sell the land and then buy the equipment to pick it up. So you could kind of split your money that way, right? It's kind of a way to optimize it if you're doing woodworking or logging, because logging is pretty expensive to get into to get the good equipment. Instead of buying the cheap, crappy equipment, you could buy half the expensive equipment, harvest a whole field, or cut it down and trim it, and then you could sell the field, sell the equipment, buy the pickup, and by then you should have enough money to buy the good stuff for real. Now, the next tip I have here has to do with contracts, and it's that Deadwood contracts are low-key really, really good. So especially if you have a chainsaw, all you have to do is cut these things down. So what you'll do is you'll get the Deadwood contract. If you have a chainsaw, you're good to go. You don't need to lease the equipment, accept the contract, okay? Field 109, if I go into the mini-map, I can fast travel there pretty quickly. If I can find it, 109, you go down to visit, okay? And then all you got to do is sprint over, and I got to cut down a couple trees. So you can see them right here. Here's a dead one right here, so I'm going to sprint to that. Okay, pull out the chainsaw. You're going to get pretty good at switch them between if you do this. But, and just cut it down. All right, cut down the 5 to 10 trees that it is. Make $1,200. That's simple, right? Already 12% done with the contract. Easy money, right? So a quick $1,200. So if you're doing a 0 to hero run, great way to make money, and these things pump out, especially if you have any kind of speed up. It's just a free $1,000 every like 5-10 minutes. Might be the fast way to make money in the game, low-key. This next tip I have here has to do with fertilizer spreaders. Basically, the problem with these fertilizer spreaders is you can't really see where it starts, right? So you're kind of guessing. So what I like to do is find the spot where it's supposed to start. Okay. So like I think, oh, it's about here. Test it. Position. All right, so that looks about right. Is that about as far over as I can get? Yeah, so that looks like a good start spot. So now what you're going to want to do is go into the construction menu, and you're going to put a little marker of some kind. So if you just go down to sculpting and painting, just a dot of asphalt where you need to start. So we'll do one on the left of it, one on the right. So now I know, I'll make it a little bigger so it's a little easier to see. Now I know whenever I want to harvest this field, I just line up with these two little asphalt lines, right? Or whenever I got to fertilize, you just line up with these two little asphalt lines and start it, and you're good to go. No more guessing where the optimal start position is. So, yeah, like I said, just find that optimal start position and put a little marker with the construction. It's really handy, especially on these bigger fields where you're kind of guessing, and you could do it for each lane, so you don't have to worry about overlap, and then you just got to get straight, right? And then you're not overlapping either. So, super handy, super good to know. So the next step I have here is that contract equipment works on all contracts. So what do I mean by that? If we borrow items for the same contract, so we got plowing contract, if I start them both, right, and borrow the equipment, I can use the equipment for both of them on the same field. It's super helpful if there's one really big one and they give you the big implement, and then there's a smaller one that gives you the small implement. You can just use the big implement for both, or you can just run both at the same time. You'll actually get it done much quicker, you know, kind of increase your profit margin. Or even better, what you can do is you only have to lease equipment for one, right? So, but this one here, I will drive it over to the field that I got to go to, right? And it will work on both fields. So the reason why you want to do that, like I said, is you can optimize it. You could either buy both and get a field done twice as quick. If you have one big field, one small field, you can use it to use the big one on both, or you could do 3 plowing contracts and only lease equipment for one, use it all 3, and then collect the rewards. Just remember, don't cancel or collect until you're done, because as soon as you cancel or collect, the contract will be over and the equipment will disappear. So you can use contract equipment on multiple things. All right, guys, so the next tip I have here has to do with grass. You may not know this, but you are able to mow multiple times before you windrow and rake. So what do I mean by that? So as you can see, I'm harvesting right now. But if I were to, let's just lower all the equipment here. All right, so I can mow it. We're on the first harvest still. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go sleep for a couple days. It's going to grow back, and you can mow it again. The reason why this is useful is because, as you guys know, you can't use the AI to bale. So you can mow it a couple times and then windrow it into one single row. So if we sleep here, we'll sleep for like 3 days to let this grass regrow, and you'll see I can mow it again. It will stack up the grass, and you can multiply the amount you're harvesting in one go. So yes, the AI can't harvest it for you, but if you're picking up 3 loads of grass in one shot, you're going to be making more money per hour. So just get it through speed up a little bit here. And I will show you what I mean. But like I said, it's really useful. You will pump a bale out like every 10 feet if you do it enough times. But you do have to be a little careful not to do it too much, because if you do it too much, then you'll actually get stuck with the balers. So it's kind of a fine line between optimizing it. So I about 3 cuts is usually about the limit. You could technically go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 before you windrow and plow, but like I said, you don't want that stack to get too high because the baler will get stuck. So now speed up's done here in a second. Let's hop back in this thing. Okay. And look at that. I am mowing it again. So I haven't harvested. I'm just mowing it right back where it was. And it's going to be twice as thick. You can mow it again. It'll be 3 times as thick, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, many times as you want. But like I said, you can mow and harvest the same field before, you can mow it multiple times before you windrow and harvest. Next tip here has to do with forage harvesting and chaff. You're actually able to dump it directly onto the ground and then pick it up with the forage wagon later. This is useful if you don't like using AI or dragging trailers or whatever. And you could actually leave it out in the field and pick it up later as in another harvest if you really wanted to. So basically how you do this is if you hold L1, R1, and then unload here, whatever the equivalent is on PC. You hit unload here, and then you can just harvest away, and it'll drop it in a line straight down onto the ground. Like I said, then you can then pick it up with a baler, which is super nice, right? You could use a baler, pick it up, and then a bale wrapper would be really useful for this, or just a forage wagon, put it in a pit, however you want to do your silage, but it just kind of gives you another option to do that. So it's a quick tip for you. The first tip that we have here is that the best way to create fields, or I guess the easiest way to create fields, is that you can actually use rice fields and plant whatever you want in them. So the reason why that's helpful, obviously, is because if you're trying to create a field and you have to use the plow and stuff, it takes forever. It's a big pain in the neck. But if you just go in construction and make a rice field, you can make it as quickly as, just plopping 4 points down like that. You can create a field that quickly. And as you can see, even though I did that, you are still able to plant whatever you want in these little rice fields. So you just don't flood it. So I'll go in here, right? And it lets me plant corn. Lets me plant the corn here, no issues. So I can just, plant it in here, fertilize it, harvest it, all that fun stuff. Works really well. It's not hard at all. Especially if you're putting like New Frontiers or something like that. It's really useful. So as you can see, it's planted on the ground. And then if I go over here, I could show you guys in this rice field that it's already planted. You're also able to harvest it. So, right, it's filling up the harvesting just like normal, and then you cultivate it and plant it just like normal. So like I said, just a way easier way than going through and actually manually plowing these fields, because that's really tedious, and plows are not the most fun thing to use in this game. Hard to keep them straight, all that fun stuff. So if you're trying to make really precise fields, just use a rice field. What we have here has to do with this Big M mower and basically how to harvest faster. So the base speed that you're supposed to be able to go with this thing is about 15 miles an hour, which is respectable. It's not too bad, but you're actually able to make this thing go much faster. You can actually go your cruising speed, so it's like 30 miles an hour. So what you do is, as you're driving, as you're harvesting, right? So I'll start from a stop, turn off the harvester, I'll fold it up so you guys can see exactly how this works. So what you're going to do is you're going to unfold it, you're going to start it, okay? You're going to lower it, start the harvester, so it's harvesting. And then as you're harvesting, you're just going to double click, fold and unfold real quick. And if you do that, it's going to keep going. It's going to let you go 30 miles an hour. So as you can see, a lot faster than it was going. Basically, it's cruising speeds. Like I said, all you're doing is on PS4, as you're harvesting, you just double click, unfold, which is L1X. Just double click it, and then you'll be able to go as fast as you want. And then it works out from a stop too. So if I stop and then keep going again, it's going to let me keep going at this speed, no issues. It does bounce around a little bit, so not a perfect method, but it speeds you up a good bit. And depending on how bumpy the field is, it's better or worse. And you don't have to go full speed. If you just go like 20 miles an hour, it doesn't really bump around as much. But it's super useful, especially if you're mowing a lot of grass. And the next trick I have here has to do with selling oats and how you can basically get free money from it. So basically what you have to do is sell it in the right month, and you can just print it for money. Just trade it straight up, more or less. So if I go into the finance menu here and go to prices, you can see that oats sell for about $1,800 per 1,000 liters, give or take, in the prime months. Well, if you buy it from the store, go into animals here. Oats, so you can buy them for about $1,400 for 1,000 liters. So we'll just, for example's sake, we'll buy one of them here. You can purchase this, okay, get an auger wagon or some way to get it to the store, right? That's seeds, so I don't want that. But the oats are over here. So if I go over to these oats, I can put them in my trailer. Okay, so I'm using an auger wagon, they'll fill up. I got 1,000 oats. Remember, I paid $1,400 for this, and now I can drive over to the store over here, and I'll be able to sell these, and I should get about $1,800 profit, or $1,800 for selling these, which is about $1,400 profit. It's a pretty good way to make easy, quick money. You can scale it up pretty quick. You can obviously buy a lot more than just one pallet at a time, but if you're short on cash and don't want to do like government subsidies or something, it's a good way to make quick money. So you see, I made a little over $1,800 for that, $400 profit, but easy way to make some money. You can scale it up as much as you want to do it. Now, the next tip I have here is something that you want to change in your settings if you don't already. So if you go into settings and then game settings and then scroll down to automatic engine start, you're going to want to set this to off. It comes defaulted to on when you start a game, but what you're going to want to do is set that to off. And what that allows you to do is it keeps your tractors running when you get out of them. That's nice for a couple reasons. One, you can keep your lights on, right? So if I turn my lights on here, if I get out, they stay on. If you don't have that setting turned on, they'll turn off. That works for basically anything that the tractor's running too. So if you've got a trailer or something that you're got set up that dump, if you get out, well, not without that setting, it'll stop. But if you turn the setting, the auto stop off, then it will keep dumping into whatever it's dumping. Super helpful if you got a chicken coop or something. You can leave your tractor running and dump it into it just fine. So, yeah.
turn your auto start, turn it off. All right, this next tip here is another way to make quick, easy money. It's from one of my last videos, but this is actually working now. So if you go into the used vehicle section, you can actually flip these for a profit. So this one's worth $190,000. We're going to buy it like that, okay? And then if we go and repair it and sell it at the dealership, has to be at the dealership. So this is that tractor that we just bought. If I drive this over to the repair station dealership, I can repair it and then sell it for a profit. So we bought it for $190,000. Okay, we're going to drive over here into this section here, pass it, okay, and then what we're going to do is going to repair it for $4,000. Okay, and now I'm going to sell it from this menu for $214,000. Okay, so I just made 10 grand lickety split just like that. Super easy to do. You can do it with anything. Obviously, the more expensive the item, the more money you're going to make, but it's a really easy way to make a couple $1,000s a month. Real quick, real easy. And the nice thing is these dealerships are right next to the stores. So it's not like you even have to drive a long way to pull it off. And now this next tip here is that you're actually able to process the Deadwood contracts and actually make a pretty substantial profit from them. So as you guys know, I'm a big fan of Deadwood contracts. They're a lot of quick, easy money. So I have a contract here for $900 if I were to just cut these trees down, which is great, you know, cut them down, obviously. But you can actually also use that wood. So if I get into, actually, I'm going to person here, so it'll be easier to pull this off. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to catch this tree into my tuk-tuk. Okay, I'm going to cut it down. Walk over here as soon as it gets over top. Step onto it. It got stuck on the tree. That's fine. There we go. Okay, so I got the tree. I'm able to okay, so we're back here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tree, if I can get by. Okay, I'm going to take this tree over to my sawmill here. Okay, easy enough. And as you can see, it went into my sawmill. So then I can just turn this into whatever I want, right? You could turn it into lumber, you could turn it into planks, all that stuff, and then sell it for a pretty good profit. Because all that the sawmill cares about is volume. They do not care about the quality of the wood. If you were to take it to the actual sell point, you wouldn't get hardly anything for it. But by turning it into something else first, the game won't discriminate as to what it is, and you'll make a pretty substantial profit from that. So, like I said, guys, you're able to actually sell the Deadwood trees, but the way you want to do it is through a sawmill. You don't want to just sell it directly. Next tip that I have here is in the construction menu. This is a quick one, but it's more or less that you can actually add solar panels to some of these buildings. So if I go into this first one here, if you enter it, and then you go to customize, which on console is R3, you can actually add solar panels to it and make a little extra cash if that's something you want to do. I usually don't do it simply because it's a little too easy of money, but it is an option and it's in the game and it looks a lot better than the solar panels of the other options. But what I do like about it is that it's a little more realistic, right? A lot of farmers do actually put solar panels on their buildings, so pretty cool. Something they added, but yeah. All right, guys, that's all we have for this video. This is some easy tips and tricks for newer or advanced players. You might not know all these tricks. Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and leave a comment. What was your favorite tip from the video? Do you have anything else that you want to add? What did I miss? All that. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe. Peace out.